Have you ever felt that quiet shift in your mid-60s, where the life you've built, peaceful, hard-earned, starts to feel like it's missing something? Maybe it's a thought that creeps in over coffee or in the silence after dinner. Is it time to try again, to find connection, maybe even love? But here's the truth no one tells you. Dating after 60 isn't about chasing butterflies, it's about protecting everything you've worked decades to create. Your freedom, your finances, your peace of mind. You need to watch this video until the end because it's not just about finding love. It's about avoiding the hidden traps that can cost you your calm, your savings, and your sense of self, while learning how to spot real connection without risking what matters most. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Loneliness can be a subtle yet powerful force, especially after 60, and it carries a risk that's rarely discussed. It can trick you into lowering your standards in ways that compromise your peace, your finances, and your sense of self. Rule number 1. Never let loneliness dictate your standards. After 6 decades of life, loneliness doesn't always announce itself with tears or despair. Sometimes it's quieter, more insidious, a hollow echo of your footsteps in an empty hallway, the stillness of a kitchen where no one else is stirring, or the realization that you could go a full day without speaking and no one would notice. It's in these moments of solitude that you might start to wonder if this is your new normal, if being alone is your destiny now. Then, someone enters your life. She's pleasant, engaging, maybe even charming. She laughs at your stories, listens attentively, and suddenly, you feel seen again, needed, alive in a way you haven't in years. That warmth, that sense of connection, can feel like a lifeline. But here's where the danger lies. That feeling can become a hook, pulling you in so deeply that you stop asking critical questions. You overlook inconsistencies, ignore your instincts, and dismiss red flags, all because you're afraid of losing that fleeting sense of being wanted. This is where many good men stumble, not because they lack wisdom, but because they mistake the presence of someone new for the partnership they truly crave. There's a profound difference between someone who genuinely wants to build a life with you and someone who's simply using your stability to fill their voids. Consider Frank, 67, a retired engineer who learned this lesson the hard way. 10 years after his divorce, Frank was doing well, financially secure, active in his community, and content in his routine. He met Linda at a church social, a woman who seemed kind, charismatic, and attentive. She shared his love for classic cars and made him feel like he mattered again. Within weeks, she was at his house every evening, cooking dinners and filling the space with laughter. Within 3 months, she'd moved in, citing a temporary financial rough patch. At first, it felt like companionship, but soon the signs emerged. Grocery bills doubled, small loans went unpaid, and Linda began making decisions about his home, rearranging furniture, suggesting costly renovations, all funded by Frank's savings. By the time he realized she was more interested in his resources than his heart, his peace was shattered, and his savings had taken a $20,000 hit. Frank didn't need a partner to complete him. He needed to feel less alone, and that need blinded him to the truth. This is why holding firm to your standards is critical. Ask yourself, am I choosing this person because they enrich my life, or because I'm afraid of the silence? The difference between seeking true connection and settling for mere convenience is stark. One builds a foundation for mutual growth, while the other erodes your sense of self over time. To stay grounded, try this exercise. Tonight, take a moment to sit down with a pen and paper. Write down 3 non-negotiable principles that protect your peace and define your boundaries. These aren't superficial preferences like physical appearance or shared hobbies. They're core values. For example, you might decide that financial entanglement is off-limits until trust is deeply established, or that your personal space and routines must be respected, or that guilt tactics are an immediate deal-breaker. Once you've written them, place this list somewhere visible, on your fridge, your desk, or your nightstand. When loneliness tugs at you, when someone new makes your heart race, this list will serve as your anchor, reminding you of what truly matters. Standards aren't barriers to love. They're filters that let the right kind of love in while keeping exploitation at bay. If this resonates with you, if you've ever felt the pull of loneliness cloud your judgment, type number 1 in the comments. Your story matters, and you're not alone in navigating this challenge. Next, let's dive into the warning signs that too many men overlook until it's too late. Rule number 2. Recognize red flags and trust them the first time you see them. Most men over 60 weren't raised to spot manipulation or protect their emotional boundaries. You were taught to provide, to persevere, to shield others. Noble traits, but ones that can leave you vulnerable when someone new enters your life. After years of solitude, the attention of a new romantic interest can feel intoxicating, and it's tempting to lean in, to give the benefit of the doubt, to call it being a good man. But at this stage of life, ignoring red flags doesn't make you generous. It makes you an easy target. The hard truth is that some people see men over 60 not as partners, but as opportunities for leverage. Financial, emotional, or otherwise. The signs are often there from the start, but they're easy to dismiss when you're craving connection. Let's break down a few of the most common red flags, grounded in real patterns. First, there's the financial fast forward. You've been dating for just a few weeks or months, and suddenly she's suggesting ways to save money by moving in together or hinting at combining finances. Maybe she asks to use your credit card for a temporary expense or suggests you cover her bills until she's back on her feet. The requests are framed sweetly, often with promises of repayment or shared responsibility, but they always cost you. This isn't partnership, it's positioning, and it's a sign she's more interested in your resources than your heart. Second, watch for isolation tactics. She might subtly criticize your hobbies, question the time you spend with friends or family, or demand more of your attention on her terms. At first, it feels like she just wants to be close, but over time, you notice your routines, your golf games, your weekly calls with your kids, your quiet evenings reading, are being edged out. This isn't intimacy. It's control dressed up as affection. Third, be wary of the perpetual victim. She presents herself as someone who's been wronged by everyone in her past. Ex-partners, family, co-workers. She leans on you heavily, calling you her last chance at love, or her savior. It's flattering to feel needed, but it's also a form of pressure that can trap you in a dynamic where your role is to fix her life, not share in it. Take Eddie, 72, a retired schoolteacher who fell into this trap. He met Carla online, a woman who was witty, articulate, and seemed to share his values. They bonded over their shared experiences of loss. Eddie's wife had passed 5 years earlier, and Carla had been through a messy divorce. Their connection felt deep, almost faded. Within 2 months, Carla had moved into Eddie's home, citing a sudden eviction from her apartment. She made him feel indispensable, but soon her influence extended to every corner of his life. She dictated his grocery lists, suggested changes to his will, and even discouraged him from seeing his grown children, claiming they didn't appreciate him. By the time Eddie realized he was losing himself, he'd spent thousands on legal fees to reclaim his home and his autonomy. In his words, "She didn't want me, she wanted the stability I'd built." If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Here's a practical test to keep in mind. Ask yourself, am I being loved, or am I being used? If the answer isn't crystal clear, that's your gut telling you something. Red flags aren't just about what someone does. They're also about how you feel in their presence. Are you treading carefully to avoid conflict? Are you giving more than feels comfortable? Do you feel like you're slowly being pulled into someone else's agenda? At this stage of life, your instincts have been honed by decades of experience. Trust them. You don't owe anyone a second chance to prove they're not exploiting you. If something feels off early on, it usually is. Don't wait for undeniable proof or for the situation to spiral. Step back before the cost, emotional, financial, or otherwise, becomes permanent. If you've ignored a red flag in the past and paid the price, type "that was me" in the comments. Sharing your experience could help another man avoid the same heartache. Now, let's get practical about safeguarding what you've worked so hard to build. Rule number 3. Protect your freedom, especially your financial freedom. After 40 or 50 years of grinding through careers, mortgages, family responsibilities, and countless sacrifices, you've earned a measure of stability. Maybe it's a paid-off home, a pension, or a nest egg that gives you breathing room. This is your legacy, your reward for a life of effort. So why would you risk it by entangling your finances with someone you haven't fully vetted? It happens faster than you'd expect. A new relationship feels promising, and soon you're splitting grocery bills, then covering utilities, then helping with her temporary emergencies. One day, she's living in your home, and your resources are quietly fueling her lifestyle. What starts as generosity can turn into erosion. Your savings, your independence, your peace of mind, all chipped away under the guise of love. Sam, 68, a retired electrician, lived this reality. He met Diane at a senior community dance, a woman who seemed vibrant and full of life. She spoke of building a future together, and Sam, lonely after years of living alone, welcomed her into his home. Within 3 months, she was living in his guest room. Within 6, she convinced him to remodel his kitchen to her taste, using his retirement savings. When the relationship ended, Sam was out $30,000, faced a legal battle to evict her, and was left grappling with a shaken sense of trust. It wasn't just the money, he said. It was realizing I'd let someone take over my life. The truth is, love can feel genuine even when it's not equitable. That's why protecting your financial freedom is non-negotiable. Here are 3 steps to take. First, if a relationship becomes serious, consider a prenuptial agreement. This isn't about cynicism. It's about defining your terms and protecting what you've built. Second, avoid merging finances in the early stages. Shared bank accounts or joint credit cards are unnecessary to prove commitment. Keep your money separate and your transactions transparent. Third, consult an attorney if you own property, have retirement accounts, or have heirs. Ensure your estate plan is ironclad before inviting someone into your home or your financial life. These precautions aren't signs of distrust. They're evidence of wisdom earned through experience. If a partner takes offense at your boundaries, that's a red flag in itself. She may be seeking access rather than intimacy. You've carried enough weight in your life. Now is the time to prioritize your security, your savings, your home, and your peace. These aren't gifts to be given lightly. They're yours to protect. If this resonates, type "freedom first" in the comments, because safeguarding yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. Finally, let's explore the most overlooked aspect of dating after 60. Recognizing what true love feels like at this stage of life. Rule number 4. Peace is the new chemistry. In your younger years, love was about the spark, the racing heart, the butterflies, the thrill of the chase. That intensity felt like magic, and it carried you through. But after 60, you've lived enough to know that fireworks often burn out, leaving drama and exhaustion in their wake. What you need now isn't a roller coaster. It's a relationship that feels like a safe harbor, a place where you can breathe deeply and be yourself. Too many men mistake attention for affection. A woman who texts constantly, demands your time, or showers you with emotion can seem like she's deeply invested. But when the expectations pile up, guilt trips, subtle control, pressure to commit quickly or reshape your life, it's not love, it's noise. Real love at this stage feels different. It's calm, steady, and grounding. You don't feel like you're auditioning for her approval or carrying the weight of the relationship. You're still, your habits, your quirks, your quiet moments, and she meets you there, respecting your rhythm rather than trying to rewrite it. Ron, 73, a retired pharmacist, shared a story that captures this perfectly. After 2 divorces and decades of chasing high-drama relationships, Ron was weary of the emotional highs and lows. Then he met Helen, a widow who loved her garden and valued simplicity. Their early dates were unpretentious. Coffee at a local diner, walks in the park, conversations that flowed without pretense. For the first time, Ron said, I felt rested with someone. I didn't have to prove anything, and the quiet felt good. That's the kind of love to seek now. Not a whirlwind, but a steady warmth, like a fireplace on a cold evening. It's a relationship where you're not judged, where your solitude is respected, where your blood pressure stays steady. Look for someone who sees you, not as a solution to their problems, but as a partner in a shared journey. She doesn't keep score, doesn't demand you change, and doesn't drain your energy. That's the love that lasts, the kind that brings peace instead of pressure. If you found this kind of connection, or if you're still searching, type "Peace is love" in the comments. Your experiences can inspire others to hold out for what truly matters. Here's a question worth pondering deeply. How do I truly feel after spending time with her? Take a moment to sit with that. If the answer stirs feelings of tension, uncertainty, or a nagging sense of being off balance, That's your heart sending you a signal you can't afford to ignore. Peace in a relationship isn't mundane or ordinary. It's a rare and precious gift. It's the quiet harmony that emerges when two people come together with no need to prove themselves, no urge to fix each other, and no hidden agendas. It's a space where you can simply be, without pretense or performance. So tonight, carve out a few quiet minutes for yourself. Grab a pen and paper and write down this question. What does peace in a relationship feel like to me? Not what it looks like on the surface, expensive dinners, grand gestures, or picture-perfect moments, but how it feels in your soul. Is it a sense of calm? A feeling of being seen and understood? A quiet confidence that you're safe to be yourself? Let that feeling become your compass, guiding you toward the kind of connection that nourishes rather than depletes. If this resonates with you, leave a comment below with the words, "Peace over pressure." Because you've earned a life where love feels like a sanctuary, not a struggle to recover from. Next, let's talk about something vital. You still deserve real, authentic love, but only from someone who meets you in your truth, not someone who challenges or tests it. Rule number 5. You deserve love, but never at the expense of your dignity, peace, or sense of self. Let's be clear, wanting love as you move through your 60s or beyond doesn't make you desperate. It makes you human. There's nothing weak or shameful about craving companionship, about wanting someone to share life's quiet moments, big laughs, and everything in between. That desire is universal, no matter your age. But what can be dangerous is allowing that longing to cloud your judgment, to push you into relationships that don't feel right or safe, simply because you fear being alone. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. For many men over 60, society sends a subtle but toxic message. You should be grateful for any attention, that you've somehow missed your window for love, and that at this stage, you should settle for whatever comes your way. That's a dangerous lie. Buying into it can lead you straight into a relationship that saps your energy, drains your finances, and erodes the very essence of who you are. You deserve a love that's free of strings, manipulation, or control. A love where you're not constantly proving your worth just to maintain a fragile peace. You deserve a partner who sees you for the man you've become through decades of growth, struggle, and triumph. Not someone who's trying to mold you into their version of who you should be. Connection. A partner to share life's simple joys. Then, through a mutual friend, he met Christine, a 66-year-old woman with a warm smile and a calm presence. Their first dinner wasn't a Hollywood romance. No sparks flew, no grand gestures swept him off his feet. But what stood out was how she listened, really listened, when he spoke. She asked thoughtful questions about his life, his passions, his fears, without rushing to fill the silence or push for more than he was ready to give. When Michael admitted he needed time to process his feelings, Christine didn't guilt him or take it personally. She respected his pace. 2 years later, they're together, living in separate homes but united by shared values and mutual respect. Their relationship is built on trust, not assumptions. Michael shared with me, "She didn't come into my life trying to fix me or change my world. She just wanted to understand it, to know me as I am." That's the kind of love worth holding out for. A love that honors who you are, not one that demands you become someone else to earn it. So, how do you prepare yourself to find that kind of love? Here's a practical, powerful exercise to ground yourself. Take a blank sheet of paper and write at the top, in bold letters, "I will not tolerate." Below it, list 3 things you refuse to accept in a relationship. Be specific and unflinchingly honest. Maybe it's financial manipulation, someone who pressures you to fund their lifestyle or makes you feel guilty for your choices. Maybe it's emotional guilt trips, where you're made to feel like you're never doing enough. Or perhaps it's disrespect, someone who dismisses your opinions, belittles your experiences, or disregards your boundaries. Whatever it is, make it personal to your values and your life. This list is your line in the sand, a declaration of what you will not compromise on. Because if you don't know where your boundaries lie, someone else will inevitably cross them, and you'll find yourself bending further than you ever intended. If you've been settling, sacrificing your needs, second-guessing your instincts, or giving up pieces of yourself just to keep someone around, this is your moment to reset. Love after 60 can be extraordinary, but only with the right person. And the right person will never ask you to abandon your sense of self just to keep them happy. They'll celebrate your strengths, respect your quirks, and honor the life you've built. If this speaks to you, leave a comment below with the words, "Clarity before chemistry." Because it's clarity, knowing what you want, what you won't tolerate, and what truly matters to you, that will guide you to a love that lasts, far beyond the fleeting pull of attraction. As a final reflection, let's come back to the core idea. Choose peace over pressure. Take a deep breath and let that sink in. This message isn't meant to overwhelm or frighten you. It's here to sharpen your focus, to remind you of your worth and the life you've earned. Dating after 60 isn't for the faint of heart. It's not about chasing charm, seeking second chances, or hoping for a dramatic, fairy tale ending. It's about protecting the quiet, hard-won peace you've cultivated over decades and only sharing it with someone who deserves to sit in that space with you. You don't need another emotional roller coaster. You don't need to be someone's savior or project to feel whole. What you need, and what you deserve, is steady, respectful companionship. Someone who values your time, your body, your home, and the principles you've lived by. Before you open your heart to someone new, ask yourself these critical questions. Will this relationship cost me my clarity? Will it demand more from me than it gives back? Am I saying yes because this feels deeply right, or because I'm afraid of being alone? Here's the truth no one talks about enough. Being alone is not the worst outcome. Losing your freedom, your identity, or the financial foundation you've worked so hard to build, those are the losses that leave lasting scars. You've built a life, whether it's filled with grand achievements or simple joys. It's yours, and it's valuable. Protect it fiercely, like the treasure it is. Because love, at its best, doesn't diminish you. It amplifies the life you've already created. That's it for today's video, folks. You've heard the raw truth about dating after 60. How to protect your peace, spot the red flags, and hold out for the kind of love that adds to your life without costing you your foundation. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one lesson you've learned from this video that you're going to carry forward and put into practice in your life? Drop it in the comments below. Your insight might just help another man navigate this journey with clarity and strength. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more honest conversations like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.